Hi there, and welcome to Searching with Scopus. Scopus is a very large database that covers science, technology, medicine, the social sciences, as well as the arts and humanities. Today, we're going to be using Scopus to find articles for our research topic: what methods or strategies are effective in assisting Indigenous Australians to quit smoking? To begin with, we can type our keywords into this search field. This form gives us the option to use multiple key terms in each search, but we want to avoid that because it's not as flexible as searching for each concept or key term individually. Our first concept is smoking and how to quit. I know from previous searches that I've done in Medline and Cinal that one way of describing the concept is smoking cessation. So I'll put that in this field. Note that I'm putting the term in quotation marks. This is called phrase searching. These force Scopus to look for the two words exactly as they appear. Without these quotation marks, Scopus will look for either of the two words, and it could really mess up the search. Once I've entered my search terms, I can either press the return or enter key or click on the search button here. And these are our initial results. Scopus does let me do a search within these results for other terms, but that will really limit my flexibility to play around with the concepts that we're using at a later stage. So I'm going to ignore these results for now, but we will come back to them in a couple of minutes. Let's go back to our main search form by clicking the search button at the top of the screen here. Scopus remembers what we've been doing in this session, and we're going to be taking advantage of that. If we look down here, this is our search history, and we're going to use this in a minute to combine our key concepts. Let's search for our Indigenous Australians concept now. We could just type Indigenous Australians, and that would probably get us some results. But there are other words that we could use. Right now, I want to just focus on searching for anything to do with Indigenous people. So what I've got here in my notepad document is every synonym that I could think of to describe Indigenous Australians or Torres Strait Islanders connected with the Boolean operator OR. We have Indigenous or Torres or Australoid. Australoid is an old term, but it still does get used a little bit. Or Aborigine with an asterisk, which will find all the words that begin with Aborigine, including Aborigine, Aboriginal, the plurals of that, or Aboriginality. Or Oceanic Ancestry Group. I know from my search in Medline that Oceanic Ancestry Group is the mesh term used in the United States to describe people who have ancestral origins in the Pacific Islands, which includes Australia. Having typed that out in Notepad, I can just copy and paste it over into Scopus and hit search. Some of these articles might talk about Indigenous Australians or Torres Strait Islanders, but because Scopus is a very large international database, a lot of these articles will talk about Indigenous people from the Americas, Asia, Africa, or the Pacific Islands, as well as Indigenous plants and animals around the world. We need to specify which region we want to focus on. So we're going to go back to our main search form and put in our location details. Now you would have seen when I went to Notepad before that I've got this big block of text here. These are my keywords for Australia. I have Austral with an asterisk, which will find Australia or Australian, along with every single state or territory within Australia in its full name, as well as its initialization or abbreviation. Remember that we're trying to keep the search nice and broad at this point, so we need to give Scopus the broadest possible terms to look for. We'll narrow our search down after this. So I'll copy and paste that into Scopus and hit search. And there are our results for our Australia concept. Now we're going to go back to our search screen and we're going to combine our previous searches with the Boolean operator AND. AND is a narrowing term that finds the overlap between two or more concepts or keywords. In other databases, there are sometimes boxes you can check to make this process really easy. Unfortunately, in Scopus, those don't exist. We have to manually type out which search we'd like to combine. There's an example here, #1 and not #3. So that's the basic structure that we're going to use. Looking at our searches, we need to do #1 and #2 and #3. And that gives us a really good start. Most of these will be quite useful to us, but we're going to narrow the results down even further. Let's say we only want really current research, papers that were published within the last 5 years. Over on the left-hand side here, we've got our limits that we can apply. I can see 2013 through to 2017, but I'd also like to see what 2012 has to offer. So I need to click View More, and that will allow me to choose 2012. Then I'll click the Limit To button here. I can also apply other filters such as document types, language, subject area, or more keywords. It's worth playing around with these when you have a chance. What I want to do now is limit these results even further by document type to reviews only. I think these are all going to be very useful in answering our research question. By default, these results are shown in reverse chronological order, with the newest articles appearing first. Over on the right-hand side, this drop-down box gives us more sort options, which can help us find the most useful results quickly. Let's sort these results by number of citations with the most cited articles at the top. This number tells us how many other articles indexed by Scopus have referenced these articles. It's important to bear in mind that newer articles will almost always have fewer citations than older ones. If we want more information about an article, we can click on the title. That will give us the abstract, and it will also give us keywords that we might be able to use in other searches. Scopus also gives us the references used in this article and the articles that have used this article as a reference. Following these links is a great way to expand our information search. To download the full text of this article, we just need to click on this Find It at JCU button. Let's go back to our results page. The last thing I'd like to show you today is how to export these to a bibliographic management tool like EndNote. We do that by checking the boxes next to the articles that we'd like to export and then hit the Export button here. That brings up this box where we're asked to choose the export format and what information we'd like to include. I'm going to go ahead and pick the right file format and check all the boxes here and then click Export. This downloads a .ris file that I can then open in EndNote. Don't forget that if you get stuck, you can always talk to the friendly staff at InfoHelp either in person, via email, phone, chat or Facebook. We're here to help you out. Thanks for watching.